Have you ever stood in your bedroom and felt like something was off? Not messy exactly, not dirty, just crowded. Like the room wasn't giving you peace anymore, but quietly pressing in around you. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. And what if I told you that your bedroom might be full of things that no longer serve you, things that don't belong there anymore, not because they're bad or broken, but because you've simply outgrown them, because you've changed, and your space deserves to reflect the calm comfort and clarity you need now. There are 30 things hiding in your bedroom that you truly won't miss, not one. And letting them go, it's going to feel like a deep breath after holding it for too long. Let's start with those small, sentimental knickknacks gathering dust on your dresser. Maybe they were gifts, maybe they remind you of someone, but when you really look at them, do they lift your spirit, or have they become just another thing to clean around, another tiny weight on your surface in your heart? You don't have to get rid of every keepsake, just the ones you no longer truly feel connected to. Keep what moves you, let go of what doesn't. And then there are those framed photos, weddings, old family reunions, children who are grown now, or faces that stir up more ache than joy. Some memories warm us, others linger too heavily. You deserve to wake up each day surrounded by comfort, not sorrow or longing. It's okay to move some pictures to a memory box or tuck them gently away for another time. Your walls and shelves can hold what brings peace. Maybe in the corner, there's a box tucked under a chair or behind the door. Inside are cards, letters, dried flowers, maybe an old corsage or a program from a memorial. You kept them because they meant something, and they did. But sometimes meaning belongs in your heart, not your drawer. Holding on doesn't always mean keeping. Letting go doesn't always mean forgetting. What about that shelf of books, the ones you meant to read, the ones someone gave you years ago saying, "You'll love this"? And maybe you would have, once. But now they sit there, spines uncracked, gathering years. If a book hasn't called your name in 5, 10, 20 years, it probably never will. Let it go to someone who's ready for it. And then there are the gifts. The sweater you never wore, the trinket that never quite fit your taste, maybe from a friend who meant well or a relative who always gave odd presents. You kept it out of guilt, didn't you? Because you felt it would be unkind to let it go. But let me ask you this. If someone gave you something, did they want you to feel burdened by it? Or was the gift meant to bring joy? If it doesn't bring joy, it's okay to say thank you silently and then release it. In the closet, you might find clothes that belong to someone you loved. A coat, a pair of shoes, a shirt you haven't touched since they left. It's hard, I know, but ask yourself, would they want this item to sit year after year as a monument to your grief? Or would they want you to feel light and comforted, not weighed down every time you open that door? Letting go of an object doesn't erase the love stays always. You might find a set of old linens, sheets that don't fit any of your beds anymore, or pillowcases that have yellowed with age. You haven't used them in years, but they're still folded neatly, just in case. In case of what? That day hasn't come. And if it ever does, will those linens truly be what you need? Or will they still be sitting in the back of the closet, forgotten? You may even find a tangle of wires in a drawer, chargers for devices you no longer own, cords whose purpose is long gone, electronics that haven't been turned on in a decade. They sit there like silent relics of a past life, and every time you open the drawer, they remind you of things you used to do, used to need, used to be. But you're not that person anymore, and that's okay. Do you have a chair in your room that's become a storage unit? The one with a pile of clothes draped over it, a purse on the armrest, maybe yesterday's newspaper or a magazine from 2 months ago? At one time, it was meant for sitting, for reading, for resting, but it lost that role, and now it's just one more thing to navigate around. Maybe it's time to let it go, or to return it to its original purpose with intention and care. Let's talk about rugs, especially the little ones. Area rugs that slide across hardwood, bath mats with curling corners, runners that never lay flat. They might look nice, but every one of them is a potential hazard. One wrong step in the dark, one shuffle of your foot, and down you could go. Peace isn't just about what we see. It's about how we move through space. Safety is serenity. Let the unsafe things go. How many sets of sheets do you really need? Think about the ones in your rotation, the ones you wash and reuse. Now think about the others. The ones you haven't touched in years, stuffed in a linen closet, maybe even taking up space in your bedroom drawers. You're not running a hotel? You don't need 6 backups, 2 or 3 or more than enough? Donate the rest. Someone out there could use them tonight. Your nightstand might be hiding a clutter all its own. Expired medications, old hand creams you never liked the scent of, chapsticks with the caps missing, a book you meant to finish last summer, things you've stuffed there for convenience but never actually reached for. That drawer, that surface, it should be a soft landing place, not a mini drugstore or a forgotten junk bin. Make it calm again. Make it yours. And what about lighting? A lamp with a finicky switch or one that's just out of reach when you're lying in bed? You shouldn't have to fumble in the dark or risk twisting your shoulder just to turn off the light. A simple solution, a touch lamp, a pull chain, a remote, can make all the difference. Sometimes the small inconveniences are the ones that wear us down the most. Fixing them brings unexpected relief. Now imagine your closet. Can you open it without something falling out? Do you have to reach too high or stoop too low? Are there clothes in there that no longer fit or that no longer feel like you? Maybe once you loved bright prints or heavy fabrics or high heels, but now your style has softened, your needs have changed. And that's a beautiful thing. Let your closet reflect the life you live now, not the one you lived 20 years ago. Some things in your bedroom don't take up much space, but they still take up too much of your peace. Like an alarm clock that blinks too bright in the night or buzzes so loud it startles you awake. Waking up shouldn't feel like a shock. If that clock leaves you feeling more tense than rested, it might be time to switch it out. Or let it go altogether. Waking with light or soft sound or even your own body's rhythm can be gentler and just as reliable. Then there are the curtains, heavy ones that block out all the light or maybe dusty drapes that you haven't washed in years. They can make the room feel gloomy, weighed down, like time stands still in there. You deserve natural light when you want it, softness when you rest, and curtains that feel more like a hug than a wall. If yours don't give you that feeling, you won't miss them when they're gone. Take a look under your bed. What's been hiding there? Old shoes, unused bins, maybe storage boxes you haven't opened in a decade. It's easy to forget about those things when they're out of sight, but they still hold space. Visually, mentally, energetically. A bed should feel like it's floating, not like it's sitting on top of a secret attic. Clear the space beneath it. You'll sleep better, even if you don't know why at first. In your drawers, there might be lotions and creams that expired long ago, perfume bottles with just a drop left, their scent long faded, makeup you haven't used in years, things you once used to feel a little more you, but that no longer serve you now. You don't have to keep them just because they once had a purpose. You've changed. What makes you feel lovely now might be something much simpler, much softer. Sometimes it's not what you see, but what you trip over. That basket of laundry that's always halfway full, the pair of shoes you kick off at night and never quite line up, the folded chair you keep just in case someone visits, the little table by the wall that collects mail, coins, pins, but never really gets used. These aren't just things, they're obstacles. Little stumbles waiting to happen. You don't need more surfaces. You need more open paths. How about that exercise equipment in the corner? The treadmill that became a coat rack, the resistance bands tangled in the drawer, the yoga mat rolled up and dusty. You might have bought them with good intentions, and those intentions were noble. But if they've become monuments to guilt instead of tools for wellness, it's okay to let them go. Moving your body should feel joyful, not like a chore, echoing in the corner of your room. Your walls might hold things that don't feel like you anymore. Artwork that's faded or never quite spoke to you, posters that belong to another time, quotes in frames that once inspired but now just blend into the background. Your surroundings speak to your spirit. They should feel like a reflection of who you are today, not a museum of who you used to be. Let your walls breathe. Let them hold only what brings you ease. Now think about your closet again. Are the hangers mismatched and tangled? Plastic ones from the store, wire ones from the dry cleaner, bulky ones that never quite fit right. When something as simple as getting dressed becomes a small frustration, it adds up over time. Matching hangers may seem trivial, but they bring a sense of order, a smoothness to your day. Keep the ones that work, say goodbye to the rest. Your shoes. How many pairs do you truly wear? Not the ones you wore to weddings in the 90s, not the ones that pinch or make your knees ache, not the ones with cracked soles or worn heels, just the ones that serve your feet now, the ones that carry you comfortably, safely. Those are the ones that deserve your space. The rest have had their time. Then there are the small piles, a magazine you meant to read last spring, a newsletter from the senior center, a catalog you flipped through once. These things multiply quietly. but they whisper at you each time you see them. Finish me, read me, do something with me. That quiet whisper turns into a hum of pressure. Clear the pile, keep only what brings enjoyment now, not obligation, not noise. In the corner of your nightstand or tucked inside your dresser, there might be expired medication, bottles with worn out labels, pills you stopped taking long ago. They sit there quietly, but they don't belong in a restful space. Check each one. Let go of anything outdated or unnecessary. Ask your pharmacist how to dispose of them properly. That small act will make your bedroom feel lighter and a little safer. Your bedroom isn't just for sleeping, it's a space of restoration, which means anything that makes you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or unfinished doesn't belong there. That might include a pile of unopened mail or a file of tax papers on the dresser. It might be your laptop or work notes tucked under your bed. You don't need to carry your to-do list into your sleep. Let your bedroom be a place where nothing is expected of you, even extra decor. Too many pillows, throws, decorative trays, or candles that never get lit can slowly close in the room. At one time, they felt cozy. Now they might just feel like clutter wearing a costume. Choose your favorites, let the rest move on. When your room has space to breathe, so do you. Some of the hardest things to let go of are the ones that used to be useful, like that second or third laundry basket or that extra mirror you no longer use, maybe a dresser that's mostly empty, or an ottoman filled with things you forgot you even had. Letting go doesn't mean you failed to use something. It just means you've recognized its time has passed. There might be beauty products in a drawer you haven't touched in years, eyeshadow you no longer wear, nail polish and colors you don't like anymore. These little items add up. And every time you open that drawer, you're reminded of things you're not doing. You deserve to open a drawer and feel ease, not expectation. Keep the few things that make you feel cared for. Let the rest go. Sometimes clutter isn't even physical. It's the quiet pressure to be who you were 20 years ago. The dress that doesn't fit but hangs like a hope. The stack of notebooks from your career. The calendar from a year you'd rather forget. Letting go of these things isn't about surrender. It's about making space for who you are now. Not who you were, not who you thought you had to be. You deserve a bedroom that welcomes you, that softens when you enter it, that doesn't remind you of undone tasks, old identities, or the ache of cluttered corners. You deserve a bedroom that supports your rest, your body, and your spirit. Every single item you remove is an act of kindness, not just toward your space, but toward yourself. There's something powerful about walking into a room that feels calm before you've even sat down, where every corner whispers rest and every surface feels light. Your bedroom can be that place. Not someday, not after a big clean out, but piece by piece, item by item, it can become a reflection of the life you want now, not the life you've outgrown of. Even something as small as a bedside basket can be a quiet source of pressure. Maybe it's filled with crossword puzzles or paperwork or half-read devotionals. You meant to get to them, you meant to finish, but now they sit more like a task list than a source of joy. You can keep the one book you're actually reading, you can keep the journal that still feels alive, but if the rest has become just background clutter, it's okay to release it. There may be a tray or a decorative bowl collecting odds and ends. Keys, old receipts, random jewelry, loose buttons, things you thought you'd deal with later, and later never came. What if that little dish became something new, a space for just one thing, a reminder that your home doesn't need to hold everything, just the essentials, just what matters now. Sometimes we hold on to items because they were expensive. That throw blanket you never liked, but it was a gift. That fancy pillow you saw in a catalog, but it's scratchy and awkward. That boutique candle you're saving for a special moment. What if the special moment is now? What if the value of something isn't what you paid for it, but how it makes you feel? If it's not comforting you, it's costing you. Let's talk about mirrors. Do you have more than you need? A standing one in the corner, a vanity mirror on the dresser, another behind the door. Maybe they once felt useful, but now, do they add light or do they reflect parts of the room you'd rather not see? Sometimes less reflection gives more peace. Choose the one that helps you feel centered. Let the rest find a new home. Old calendars, to-do lists from last year, notes to yourself, scribbled on envelopes. These might still be hanging on a bulletin board or tucked in a corner. They're ghosts of tasks that no longer need finishing. You've already moved past them. Take them down, shred them. Let blank space take their place. There's something deeply healing about walking into a room where the only thing you're expected to do is rest. Take a look at the edges of your room. Corners where dust gathers because no one ever walks there. Shelves that are too high to reach easily. Furniture you walk around instead of use. If something only serves the space and not you, then the space isn't really yours anymore. You are allowed to take your bedroom back, to let it grow simpler, softer, safer. Think about that old jewelry box or dish of accessories. You might still have earrings missing their pair, necklaces you haven't worn since your 40s, brooches that belong to someone else's style. Keeping a few pieces for memory's sake is fine, but if your dresser top has become a tangle of what was instead of a celebration of who you are now, it might be time to sort through. Keep the pieces that still make you feel beautiful and let the rest go, where they'll be worn again instead of waiting to be chosen. Look at your lighting, harsh bulbs, overhead glare, fixtures that cast shadows instead of warmth. Light is more than utility, it's mood, it's safety, it's softness when the sun fades. A bedroom filled with natural tones and gentle glows invites you to unwind. You don't need a dozen lamps, just one or two that give off a light that feels kind. Inside your dresser drawers, you may still have clothing from old routines, business wear from jobs you no longer have, outfits for events that no longer come around, pajamas that don't fit or feel scratchy, lingerie from a life stage that's changed. Letting go of those things isn't a loss, it's alignment. Your clothing should reflect the body and the life you have now, the one that wakes slowly, moves gently, and seeks ease above all. If you keep a fan or heater in the room, ask yourself if it still works properly. Does it run loud? Does it take up too much space? Is it safe? These small devices impact your rest more than you might think. If it rattles, overheats, or hasn't worked quite right in a while, it's time to replace or remove it. Good air and quiet air matter more than most of us realize. Let's talk about scent. Candles, plug-ins, sprays, even potpourri. Sometimes we hold on to these because we liked them once, or because they came as gifts. But if that smell no longer soothes you, or if the candle's never lit, what is it really doing there? Scent is powerful. It can bring comfort, or it can agitate. Let go of the ones that don't feel like peace. Make space for air that feels like yours. In the corner of your room, you might have a hamper that's too big or too deep, one that you have to bend over too far to use. Maybe it's always overfilled, reminding you of tasks undone. A simple switch to a smaller, more accessible hamper can change how laundry feels. Lighter, easier, less like a burden waiting in the corner. Old tech has a way of lingering. A radio you don't use, a tablet that won't charge, an old phone in a drawer. Technology doesn't just age, it becomes clutter. Unless you're using it regularly, it's taking up space in the physical room and in your mental space. Clear it out, recycle it properly. Let your bedroom be a place of quiet, not blinking lights and tangled cords. Sometimes we save things for guests who rarely come. An extra pillow that's never been used, a blanket that only gets unfolded once a year. If you have space for it elsewhere, fine. But if it lives in your bedroom, occupying shelves or drawers or underbed storage, ask yourself if it's truly needed. You can welcome visitors without crowding yourself. Your walls don't need to be bare, but they do need to breathe. Too many pictures, plaques, shelves, or hooks can make a room feel visually noisy. Imagine instead one or two beautiful, meaningful pieces, a soft painting, a photo that warms you every time you look at it, a wall that allows your eyes to rest. That stillness will carry into your thoughts. Even the air itself might need a reset. An old air purifier with a filter that's never changed, a humidifier you haven't used in months, devices meant to help but now just collect dust. If you're not actively using them, or if they're not working as they should, it's time to let them go. The goal is not to have more tools, it's to have fewer needs. And here's the quiet truth about all of this. None of it is about perfection. Your room doesn't need to look like a magazine. It just needs to feel like it loves you back, that it holds you, comforts you, welcomes you, that it doesn't expect anything from you the moment you walk in, because rest shouldn't have rules, and your bedroom shouldn't ask for effort. There's something beautifully quiet about a room that holds only what you need. It invites your shoulders to drop, your breath to deepen, your mind to soften. You no longer have to move around the things that once mattered but no longer do. You're finally free to rest in a space that reflects who you are today, not who you were yesterday. You may have a clock radio from another decade sitting on the dresser. Maybe it still works. Maybe it just sits there out of habit. It hums faintly when plugged in or flickers with numbers too bright in the night. If you don't use it, if you haven't tuned into that frequency in years, it's okay to let it go. Your time isn't measured by blinking lights. It's measured by how gently your day begins. Inside a basket or drawer, you might find old remotes, ones that belong to televisions or devices you don't even own anymore, maybe a flashlight that doesn't work or a battery tester you never quite learned to use. These things seem useful, so we keep them. But usefulness without use is just clutter in disguise. And you deserve a bedroom free of hidden confusion. Maybe there's a sewing kit tucked away, full of tangled threads and buttons without a match. Once, you mended everything by hand. Now, maybe your hands ache or your eyes tire easily. You still have the skill, but you use it less. If that kit brings you joy, keep it neat and within reach. But if it only reminds you of what you no longer do, release it without guilt. You haven't failed, you've simply changed. Behind a closet door, there might be bags, tote bags, reusable shopping bags, old purses from years past. You meant to use them again? Maybe you will. But do you need 10? Do you need 5? Let yourself choose the ones that still serve you and let the rest move on. You don't have to carry everything, literally or emotionally. You might find holiday decorations tucked into corners of your bedroom, an ornament that never made it back to the bin, a string of lights still tangled from last December. Sometimes the bedroom becomes a storage room without us realizing it, but it isn't meant to be. Seasonal items belong elsewhere. Your room deserves to stay rooted in the present, not stretched across 12 months. Think about linens again. How many throw blankets do you really use? How many pillows are tossed on the bed in the morning only to be removed again at night? What started as comfort may have become clutter. One soft blanket is enough. 1 or 2 pillows. Let the bed look like an invitation, not a display window. In the far back of your closet, there may be luggage from trips long ago, a suitcase with a broken zipper, a duffel bag that's too heavy now. It's okay to keep what you use, but if your travel days have slowed down or you've moved on to simpler bags, don't let the old ones steal your space. You can hold the memories without keeping the baggage. Sometimes we keep gift bags and wrapping supplies in our bedroom closet. Ribbon, tissue paper, boxes for just in case. These little things multiply quickly, but birthdays and holidays aren't surprises. We know when they're coming. You don't need to store everything for every occasion in your sleep space. Choose a few essentials and store them where they won't interrupt your peace. Old paperwork might be tucked in too. Instructions for electronics you no longer have, warranties long expired, receipts faded with time, manuals for devices that are gone. You may have told yourself it was smart to keep them, and maybe it was once, but now they're taking up drawers meant for ease, not archives. Let them go, shred them, recycle them, reclaim the space. You may even have craft supplies hidden away, yarn you don't use anymore, paints that have dried, beads from a project you never finished. Once, they brought joy. But now, maybe they just sit there, quietly reminding you of hobbies left behind. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to say, that was part of me, but it isn't anymore. Look at your shoes again. Slippers that have flattened, heels you haven't worn in decades, boots with soles so worn they wobble. Your feet work hard for you. Give them only what supports them now. Keep the comfort, release the rest. Walking safely and softly is worth more than anything boxed and forgotten in the closet. Even bedding can hold stress, a mattress pad that bunches, sheets that are too tight, pillows that are lumpy or flat. These things may not seem urgent, but you feel their effects each night. You wake stiff, you turn often, your sleep feels shallow. Sometimes rest is found not in doing more, but in letting go of what interrupts it. Maybe there's a box marked to be sorted, the one with things you weren't ready to decide about, mementos, mismatched items, orphan cords. It's lived there for months, maybe years. You pass by it each time you get dressed, promising you'll get to it soon. Today can be that day. Even just a few minutes, a few decisions, a few cleared items. Every bit you release makes the room feel lighter. Your nightstand may hold little things you meant to use, a nail file, a notepad, a bottle of vitamins, maybe even a tea light candle. But when the drawer becomes a dumping ground, even helpful things turn into clutter. You deserve a surface that feels like calm. A drawer that opens to what you actually use. A nightstand that doesn't ask anything of you but to rest. You might even be holding on to clothing for someone else, a guest robe, a spare sweatshirt for visiting grandkids, that sweater your daughter left behind. If it's rarely used, let it live somewhere else. Your closet isn't a lost and found. It's a space for your comfort, your clothing, your life. If you've downsized, or even if you haven't, sometimes furniture comes with you that no longer fits the space. A bench at the end of the bed that now just collects things. A chest of drawers that stays empty but takes up the wall. It's hard to let go of furniture, but it's also freeing. Open floor space brings ease to movement, to cleaning, and to your overall sense of rest. Maybe you have a plant that's long since wilted, a bouquet you meant to dry, now brittle and pale. We often forget to let go of the quiet losses, but letting go of something that once had life doesn't erase its beauty. It simply makes space for something new, for something fresh, or for open air and empty space, which can be just as beautiful. When you've finished releasing what no longer belongs, what you're left with is an emptiness. It's room to breathe, to think clearly, to rest deeply. You'll look around and feel less weight on your shoulders, less noise in your head, and less tug on your heart. Your room becomes a place that supports you, not just stores your things. There's a kind of healing that happens when you let things go, a quiet strength that builds not because you're holding on to more, but because you've decided to hold on to less. Your bedroom doesn't need to carry the full weight of your history. It doesn't need to store every stage of your life, every version of yourself, or every plan you once had. It simply needs to hold you just as you are today. Sometimes what we keep is connected to who we once were. Maybe you still have a drawer of formal accessories, a silk scarf from a wedding, a brooch you wore to church, a tie tucked away for special occasions that no longer come around. These things served you once. They meant something, but if they now sit untouched, hidden away, it's all right to thank them and let them go. You're not walking away from the moment. They already lived. You're just creating space for the moments that are still ahead. You might have a corner where keepsakes live, not the ones that warm your heart, but the ones you kept because you felt you had to. A souvenir from a trip you didn't enjoy, a memento from someone who hurt you, a photograph you don't want to display but can't quite bring yourself to part with. It's okay to ask yourself if those things are bringing peace. Not everything that enters your life has to stay forever. Are you allowed to choose comfort over memory when the two no longer align? Think of your dresser top. Has it become a landing zone for randomness? A spare button, a birthday card, a container of coins, maybe even an unopened envelope you've been avoiding? When a surface becomes cluttered, it reflects back a sense of unrest. But when it's clear, just a small lamp, a favorite framed photo, or a vase with one flower, it can change the way you feel in the room. It tells your mind it's okay to let go. You've already done enough. Even your windows might be asking for less. Are the sills lined with little trinkets, mini picture frames, candles that never get lit, sun-faded decor you stop noticing? Try removing everything just once. Sit with the emptiness. Notice how the light changes, how the room breathes differently. You might be surprised by how much beauty shows up when you clear space for it. Maybe you've kept items in your room because you're afraid you'll forget. A token from your travels, a note from your child, a gift from someone you miss. And yes, memory matters. Love matters. But those things live in your heart, not in the dust on a shelf. If the object no longer brings warmth when you see it, if it now only brings a pang or pressure or obligation, you can let it go without losing what it meant. Some goodbyes are soft, gentle, and exactly what we need to move forward. Even baskets meant for storage can become a trap. A bin of old scarves, a container of forgotten socks, a tote of seasonal decorations that never made it back to the attic. What begins as order can quietly become chaos. You don't need more ways to hide clutter. You need less clutter and more clarity. Fewer bins, more breath. Take a moment to think about the sounds in your bedroom. The click of an old thermostat, a squeaky drawer, the buzz of a power strip with too many plugs. We learn to ignore these things over time, but they still speak to the nervous system. A gentle environment includes sound and sometimes silence. Fix what can be fixed. Remove what hums or grates or rattles. Give your ears the same peace you give your eyes. If you have extra furniture, an old bookshelf, a nightstand from a different set, a chest you brought from another home, it's worth asking if it still belongs. Does it serve a daily purpose, or has it become invisible clutter, taking up space because you're used to seeing it there? A room doesn't feel empty when furniture is removed. It feels restful. It feels easier to move, to clean, to live. Sometimes we keep things because we plan to get to them. A pile of clothes to donate, a stack of books to pass along, a bag of things to return. But if those plans have been sitting in the same place for weeks or months, they become part of the clutter. It's not about blaming yourself. It's about being honest with what your space needs. Take one action, just one. Move the bag to the car. Place the box by the front door. You'll feel the shift almost instantly. Even under the bed, there may be forgotten things. An old heating pad, a wrapped gift from last year, craft supplies in bins. If it hasn't come out in the last season, it probably isn't essential. You deserve a room where nothing lurks, where sleep happens above stillness, not stored chaos. There's a gentle power in making peace with where you are, in honoring what still serves you and blessing what no longer does. Decluttering your bedroom isn't just about objects. It's about giving yourself permission to stop carrying what doesn't nourish you. It's about waking in a space that doesn't ask anything of you except to rest, to breathe, to be. You don't have to get it all done at once. You don't have to let go of everything. But even one drawer, one basket, one item released can start to change how your bedroom feels and how you feel inside it. This is about dignity, about honoring the chapter you're in, about surrounding yourself with items that reflect not just your taste, but your needs, your comfort, your rhythm. You are not less because you want less. You are wise because you know what matters more. You've built a life, a good one, full of stories, seasons, and so many transitions. Your bedroom should support you in this moment, not ask you to relive every one that came before. Let it be soft. Let it be light. Let it be yours fully and presently. When you finish, you'll walk in and feel the difference. Your shoulders will drop, your breath will come easier, you'll sleep more deeply, and you won't miss a single thing you let go of, not one, because in their place, you'll have peace. And that, more than anything, is what your bedroom was meant to hold.